Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Madgiga K400. This is a mechanical keyboard that uses blue switches from China, and it retails for $100. You can get it at GearBest and also on Amazon and through the company's website. They are a manufacturer of numerous mechanical keyboards, and this seems to be one of the fairly high-end models that they're producing that has a very gaming-centric design that's slightly bulky but also is fairly elegant in how it's designed, and it has a laser-etched keys, 104 keys, and it's a simple USB 2.0 structure that plugs into any computer without any compatibility problems. This is a backlit keyboard as well that has 10 programmable LED modes, which we'll show you guys later on in this video review. So the packaging here is fairly simple. There's access to an instruction manual or a warranty guide, and then there's just the keyboard itself. So when we take this out of the packaging, the first thing that you'll notice is that it's definitely not a compact keyboard per se. That's because this one really is geared towards gamers out there who want more controls for easier adjustment of their games. And here there's also a dedicated numpad on the right, which again takes up more space, but it's good also for calculations and if you want to do more numerical input. There's standard arrow keys on the sides, and the top row is dedicated for functions and some special controls for media on the sides. So taking a quick look at the design of the keyboard first, this one comes in two colors. So this is the black version. There's also a white model available, and there are a few blue accents which can't be changed. The frame is made out of a fairly solid aluminum, and it definitely feels like something that will endure quite a bit of usage, and it's well constructed in that sense. Obviously with mechanical keyboards you can simply pop off the keycaps if you do need to replace these or wash them off over time. You can see that there is a bit of branding, unfortunately, on the bottom here that says mechanical keyboard, gaming mechanical keyboard, and there is the company's logo on the top. But aside from that, it's a pretty clean design. You also have, again, a few accents that creates this, again, very gaming-centric look. Definitely takes up a bit of desk space, so make sure that you do have this open space on your desk before you consider this model, but otherwise, again, pretty good design. Chrome accents here and there that really matches the overall look, and the cable here has a 1 meter cable length, and it has a braided kind of design. The inside here is actually a braided nylon, and it's also been coated on the outside by a layer of acrylic plastic, so it really is a sturdy cable that it does a nice job. The USB port here, which is standard 2.0, is also gold plated, and as aforementioned, simply can be plugged into any computer without any compatibility issues. Flipping the keyboard over, we're greeted to several rubber feet that prevents it from sliding around on a surface or desk. We see the continuation of the chrome accents, some of them which don't do anything other than decorative purposes, and again the aluminum frame remains quite sturdy, although the back here is made out of plastic on this center part. There's also feet that I can open up for an elevated angle when typing for longer periods of time. And now for a size comparison, you can see that indeed this is one of the larger full-size keyboards that you can get on the market, especially with that extended numpad area. Useful to some, but if you don't want this feature, you can definitely get a smaller frame with smaller bezels, so to speak. This is another full-size mechanical keyboard, also with blue switches, and you can see that it gets rid of the numpad on the side and also minimizes on some of the borders instead of having these chrome accents. Even smaller keyboard, here is one by DREVO. This is a Bluetooth variant that has even smaller bezels, and again, doesn't have num keys either, and you can tell again that this one is much smaller and a fair amount more portable. So if portability is your number one concern, then the K400 series is definitely not going to be the perfect choice. But if you are putting it in one spot, then overall it does still work. So the boot up sequence is fairly typical, and you can see that as far as brightness is concerned, definitely visible under lowly lit environments and useful if you are typing or gaming in the dark. The keys themselves have a nice overall luminancy, and again it's a blue switch keyboard, so there is a bit of sound when you type on these. They have a great tactile feedback, and a benefit of having a mechanical keyboard in general is that you don't have to apply as much pressure onto each keystroke. Once you get used to the kind of sensitivity of the keyboard, you can just press halfway, and the switches really do the work for you by pressing all the way down and registering that as a click on your computer. It also lasts longer than a traditional membrane keyboard, so if you're looking for something that you can use for years and years down the road, this might be a better option than, again, a cheaper keyboard. And again, it just feels really nice when you're typing in general. As far as the layout is concerned, again, this is a full-size keyboard, so the benefit here is really spacious and comfortable keys. Not only does it look classy, but you get used to layout here, which is fairly typical. It's not a ergonomic shape after just a few minutes of using it. And since it does use LEDs as a backlight, it's also quite energy efficient. So no real complaints as far as the performance and the accuracy is concerned. I do like how it looks as well as how it feels when typing. So that's, again, the sound and how loud the keyboard gets. So if you're using this in an office setting or with friends around you, then that might be something to consider. With blue switches in general, then maybe brown switches, which are more silent, would have a slight preferential edge, but those don't feel quite as clicky as blue switches, which I prefer as far as the feedback that you get from typing on this. Some other things in terms of function keys, you can see a layout graph on the instruction manual that tells you tapping on function plus F1 opens up the CD or DVD tray on your computer, and as long as you have a Windows computer, that command works fairly well. If you have an optical drive, that just ejects the CD drive outwards, so you can pop in a new DVD or software for gaming. For adjusting the brightness and other color modes, we tap on function plus up and down to, again, cycle through the brightness adjustments, and side by side to go through different speeds if you want to change it between various transitional effects. I think that having the keyboard lit all the way that you see right now with different colors on each row, you can't program the colors, unfortunately, is a good option just because it doesn't flash or become super annoying since you still want to find the keys in the dark. But if you want to have it in a display mode when friends are around or to add an ambiance into the room, then some of those fancier modes will come into effect. So let's take a closer look at that. So again, function up and down. You can see this is the most brightly lit environment right now, and that's where the LEDs on the side will start to flash to tell you that it's as bright as it gets. And you can get it dimmer and all the way off. And so these keys here are just for status. They don't actually rotate or do anything else. Function plus insert goes through the various modes. Right now we're on this kind of glow effect where you can type anywhere on the keyboard, and after a few seconds you can see that the letters start to fade out. And again, function plus insert once more goes into kind of the gaming specific mode, which you can also program by tapping function 1 through 6. That kind of shifts the keys around, so only certain keys are backlit, and those are ones you want to place your fingers on in specific games. And that's quite easy to program through, although it's not necessarily a feature that's unique to this keyboard. We've also seen it on other models released. Function plus insert again takes us through, again, the full kind of a glowing effect that ripples and gets brighter and then dimmer. And then again, this is kind of the snake pattern that flickers and then goes all the way back. So this is more of a transitional effect that's cool for display purposes, but not as practical for day-to-day usage. Function again, the same thing, but now it's strobing side by side. And finally, function insert again is kind of the ripple, where you tap on once to have the display spread outwards. Interestingly enough, in the ripple mode, this is as bright as it gets. It seems a little bit dimmer than on the other modes, but maybe it's just the model I have here, not really sure. Tapping on it once more, we're in this kind of streamer effect, which also isn't super bright. Tapping on it again, we have this crazy sine wave effect. So if I can show this off towards the camera a little better, you can see that it makes these oscillating patterns back and forth, but doesn't react to the keys as you tap on them. And also a pretty dazzling effect. Function plus insert once more takes you back to the more traditional fully lit environment. So pretty good as far as giving you a number of different options to play around with. Finally, again, as kind of as aforementioned, 1 through 6 just changes the layout for specific gaming, but again, it seems a little bit dimmer. Even if I tap on plus, you can see this is as bright as it gets. So it seems not as bright as when everything is completely lit, which is an interesting feature or interesting glitch, not really sure which one, but it works nonetheless. As a whole, the keyboard itself is well illuminated, and again, I like the keys as far as how they feel when you're typing on it. So that's our quick video review of the Madgiga K400 gaming mechanical keyboard. Overall, it's a good option if you're looking for a full-size keyboard with also a dedicated numpad on the side. Although some of the decorative pieces that are etched in chrome don't do much, but add some flair to the design. Overall, it looks good, and at this price, you are getting a very solid typing and feedback from the keys on here. They feel great when you're, again, using it for longer periods of time. The backlights are customizable, they're easy to use. Some features, though, aren't present, such as the option to change the colors that are set on each key. You can see that each row has a specific color that can't be changed more than what you see here. And the brightness itself does work pretty well as far as in lowly lit environments and still being able to see the keys. So overall, it's a good option if you're looking for a gaming keyboard for computers, Mac and PC alike. It's not perfect, but if you do have the space for a larger keyboard solution, this might be one to consider. You can check out more details in our upcoming written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Madgiga K400 backlit mechanical gaming